Maricela, do you want to call us to order? I mean, it's a committee, so I don't think we actually have to do roll call. But
We are doing roll call for all of our committee.
okay, sweet.
But Maricela, if you call us to order, then I'll do roll call.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll start with roll call.
Thank you. Hopefully you got the notice that we are recording. And yeah, it's recording. Maricela Ortega Guzman.
Here.
Tabidi Lewis. Molly Rogers. Jeff Parker. Zan Ojero.
Here.
Diana Rojas. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. Hey, Maricela, I'll just get us rolling. I mean, I think the primary purpose, as we do, is just to kind of quickly run over the agenda, which is technically the second piece on our agenda. The director's update is, I'll be fast, and given Zan wanted to kind of, let's jump to the quarterly meeting agenda review and then come back to director's update. In fact, at the end of the actual agenda is some quick bullets on director's update, which I'll give at the full quarterly meeting. So in some ways we'll cover that as a part of the full agenda review. So thank you, Melissa, for sharing. This is a rough outline of our agenda for our quarterly meeting next month, which is scheduled for Thursday, March 14th. Melissa, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll be down in Salem at the Public Services Building starting. Folks can arrive between 9:30 and 10. That'd be great. And then we'll go from roughly 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Is that right, Melissa?
I think we wrap up. Is that right?
Or to maybe 1.
we go to 1. I think we go
1.
9 to 1. Yeah.
9 to 9 to.
Sorry about that.
9 to 1. Did I say 10? I think we usually don't start at 9. I think we start at 10.
Okay.
Somebody.
I'm going to confirm.
Confirm.
We're 10 to 1. 10 to 1 is our. Sorry about that. Goodness.
Yeah, I said 10 to 2. So I added an hour at the end. You added an hour at the beginning. Somehow or other, we'll make it happen. I think we've got about 3 hours of content, maybe a little less. We'll do welcome. We have a presentation, roll call. Want to make sure that folks have done their forms to get reimbursed for, mileage and all, and make sure parking and stuff is covered. So we've actually kind of added that just to make sure that that's all covered. And also we are moving to ensuring that those council members who qualify get their forms. It's called an attestation form, so that they can get the stipend for their involvement. So making sure that those forms are completed. I think particularly want to make sure that our youth committee and younger members are covered, and then folks who qualify. There are some disqualifying factors that, depending on the what your earnings are, so not everyone is eligible technically to get the stipend for involvement, but we're going to make sure we get forms done and keep moving around stipends and reimbursements. And again, that starts with making sure that everybody's completed the right forms. Melissa, is there anything else to say about that?
Not that I can think of. Thanks for making sure that that's on there, though.
Yeah. So we'll kind of cover that at the beginning briefly so that we don't miss. Then we'll move into a data and research presentation. A couple of our team members, Bill Hansel and Molly, will talk we've dedicated 50-60 minutes of this. Want to just present data from the last biennium. We've some of it's just outputs, right? Number of youth served in various grant initiatives, but also a few other pieces of data that we're collecting as a part of specific grant programs. My son is being very loud with the dishes.
Well, that's a good reason to be loud. So
yeah, he's home sick, and he's asking me how to thaw chicken, even though he's got strep throat. Sorry. So we'll have that presentation, key questions, to be that what we want to ask our council members, what their questions are. And then we'll also want to have some discussion about what our audience is. Welcome, Deltra. Stakeholders with questions, inquiries, how do we prioritize them? What's our staff capacity to handle data? So some bigger overarching questions are things we may not have all the answers to, but we will include as part of that conversation. I see that Tabiti's joining us. Hello, Tabiti. We're just going through the agenda. We have Zan for only a few more minutes, so we're moving fast. We have a break, and then a grantee spotlight. We've had a conversation. One of our team members had a quick conversation with the folks from Latino Network, where Maricela also happens to work. So they'll do an overview of their work. I'm going to pause again, knowing Zan, you've got to go. Are there any questions to this point?
No, no questions at this point.
Okay. Oh, Tabiti saying he's sick. Yeah, trudging along. We appreciate that. My own son has just been diagnosed in the last 20 minutes with strep, so know exactly what that's all about. We'll have a strategic planning update from Cord. Thank you, Cord. I see you're here. I sent out late last week a quick update to council members. It basically just said, hey, here we're just in advance of our quarterly meeting, and it also included a document that had some of the as kind of a highlights and summary of the planning retreat that we had in late November. So council members Tabiti and Zan and Maricela want to make sure that you all have that email back from late Friday, and that you're taking a look at that and thinking about any questions or comments you have from the planning retreat. Then we'll move to committee updates, juvenile justice, equity disparity, the policy rules research. Those are all the little abbreviations in our youth committee. And then we'll move to my update kind of toward the end. I think we'll, again, Melissa, correct me if I'm wrong. We are going to have lunch, and we'll probably have kind of a working lunch between 12 and 1 for those in attendance in person. Melissa, can you move up so that we can see the bottom? Thank you. We'll do a quick kind of RFA update covering topics around where things stand. We've actually got our agreements moving, and we're moving forward with our grantees. I don't have much to say at this point right now. Things are still a bit in motion, but we do have the third-party review, and so I'll provide a summary of that at that quarterly meeting. So can't say much more than that. There's still some questions we're in conversation with the Department of Justice related to the review that was done of the last biennium's RFA. So know though that I'll provide a summary of that on March 14th. And feeling good about the fact that, I know folks have waited for that information and been patient with us, and had various, public records requests and things from the fall. So we'll provide a summary of that to the full council in whatever 2 or 3 weeks. And we'll talk a little bit more about stipends and reimbursements for council members, just stressing the importance of the attestation forms and getting things are happening to get those out. We'll make those stipends retroactive to July 1st, if I'm not mistaken. Melissa, does that sound right?
I think that's right. I need to double check the date, but it can be retroactive for the year, I believe.
For the
So it might go back. It might go back to the beginning of January 2023.
Okay,
I think. I'll check.
See what you can figure out. There's some internal process at ODE that we work through, but we'll give an update around that. We did get some results from an employee engagement survey that actually the Oregon Department of Education conducts. Really strong results from our own youth development division staff, and I'll just share some highlights from that. Certainly things that we can work on and improve, but I was excited to see that the results of that staff engagement, employee engagement survey. So share a little bit there. We recently did a suicide prevention training that was facilitated by one of our council members, Liz Thorne, and another wonderful facilitator. So just wanted to share that with the full council and answer any questions about that. We did that just a couple of days ago in person in Salem. And then just mentioning, and perhaps we'll have other events and activities that members of the public or staff want to highlight, but just one that comes to mind is the Boys and Girls Club down in Corvallis had their Youth of the Year event, and it was an event that we had some staff attend, and I think they have a statewide Youth of the Year event coming up. So just wanting to mention that that was something we were able to get some folks in attendance at, and we'll look at doing another event what ends up, I think they have another event coming up in March, if I'm not mistaken. I see you shaking your head, Zan. So one of the things I'll just mention, just as an interesting outcome of that, was that in attendance at that event in Corvallis last week was the Benton County Sheriff, and so Anya from our team had a chance to connect with the Benton County Sheriff and talked a little bit about our council and need for law enforcement representation. So just know Zan as somebody, I think, you've sounded like there's some connection there at the county, obviously at the county level. So we've reached out and shared with, I'm forgetting the sheriff's name. Yeah, shared some of the overview of our council and works.
And if I can lobby him. I'm only going to be on this council through December since my term ends as commissioner. And so yeah, be happy to have someone from here participate. And he's a very good guy.
Awesome. Thanks. I appreciate hearing that. So that's the agenda. You kind of got the director's piece there at the end, which we'll share with the full council, but those are all the highlights of things that I would have shared anyway as just part of the first agenda item. So I don't know, Commissioner Ozero, if you have any questions, and Tabidi and or Maricela, if there are any things that you have questions about. But again, I know Zan, you gotta go.
Gotta go. Thank you. I don't have any questions at this time, and I'm going to sign off.
All right. Appreciate your being here. Tabidi, I see you. Welcome. I think Maricela, there's Maricela. Are there any questions from either of you two?
No questions for me at this point. Thank you.
Yeah, none for me at this time either.
Oh, the voice, Tabidi, no more talking for you based on what I just heard. And I don't know, it sounds like this will be pretty fast. I don't know if we've got any public comment, but we'll take any public comment. I think, help me, Melissa or Maricela, I think it's up to 2 or 3 minutes.
Up to 3 minutes. We have a couple guests here. Delta Ferguson from Resolve and Bethany Thramer, Oregon Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs. Bethany has been chatting in direct message with me, but Bethany, if you want to chime in about what you sent me about the State Boys and Girls Club.
The State Youth of the Year is going to be March 21st in Corvallis, just in case you want it on your calendars.
Yeah, we'll put it on. Yeah, thank you. March 21st.
Wonderful. And Bethany had also just mentioned that she's starting her new role. So I'm not sure how long you've been the director, but
I started last week, and so I'm excited to be exploring the new role. So I worked previously with Oregon After School and Summer for Kids for a decade, and so we worked very closely, and I'm excited to be working with all the Boys and Girls Clubs in Oregon now. And sorry, I'm off camera because I have a stomach bug. So
no worries.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah. Deltra, anything from you?
Hi, everybody. No, nothing from me today at all, Brian. I'm just here to listen and just be a part of the community. That's all. Yep.
Thanks, Deltra. Appreciate you being here, and everyone else. I know there's some staff here. Appreciate Cord and Paul signing in, and Melissa obviously getting everything organized. We are obviously ahead of schedule. So unless Maricela, there's anything else from you or any other council members, you could probably adjourn us and y'all get like 40 minutes or something like that back to your day.
Nothing from me. Tabidi, feel free to jump in if you have anything. And if
Surprise,
not,
surprise, nothing from me.
all right. Thank you all for your time today, and we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting.
Awesome. We'll see you all in a few weeks and we're at other committee meetings. Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.